People want to know, will I have a arranged marriage or a love marriage? The reason people generally ask about love marriage is because they think that in a love marriage, they are going to be much more satisfied because they are finding their own partner. Most people in India, they don't want a arranged marriage because they feel that their parents are going to choose a partner who's not good enough for them. This is the reason everybody wants a love marriage. No good book of palmistries tells you about love marriage or arranged marriage. This is the first aspect. But at the same time, in many YouTube videos, you'd find people giving reasons, different. In fact, they are not giving reasons. They are just saying that some people are saying if you have a line of attachment, the line of marriage, if it is leaning downwards, you would have a like a love marriage. Some people say no, this is not a sign. Some people say, oh, you if you have got a V-like portion out here, then it's a love marriage. But I would say no, it's nothing like this. See, whenever we are trying to uh, give an answer, we should give a very convincing answer so that a person who does not know palmistry also believes in on us. So out here, what I would give you is I would give you proper reasoning and tell you why a person is likely to have a arranged marriage or a love marriage, but there is no sure shot guarantee that the person is 100% going to do as I say. So let's take first the attachment lines. These are the attachment lines that you see out here. Some people call them as the marriage line. Now, marriage line as such can't tell you that you would have a arranged marriage or a love marriage. There's no way to tell from these particular lines that you are going to be having a love or a arranged marriage. So the thing that many people are saying that if you have a upward line, you would have something like a love marriage or a arranged marriage. Some other person is saying that you have a downward line, then you would have a love marriage or a arranged marriage. So this is a total wrong way of interpreting these particular lines. Okay, so the first thing is that. The second thing is we look at the heart line. Now, the heart line can give you indications about love or arranged marriage as well. See, first, before I answer this particular question regarding love marriage or arranged marriage, we have to first ask ourselves what is a love marriage? A love marriage is something where there is purity in marriage. The first thing is that there's purity in marriage. There's pure love because this is what people are seeking. But the reality is that in a hidden way, this is not what they are seeking completely because there are other things also playing out in the people's mind. The first thing that is the first thing that people want is that they want a very beautiful partner. They want beauty. They want a beautiful partner. A male wants a very good female partner, and a female wants a very good male, good-looking partner. So this is the first aspect. So to look for this particular aspect, we should look at the heart line. If it is ending on the mount of Saturn, this is the mount of Saturn. The longest finger is the finger of Saturn, and the area under is the mount of Saturn. So if the heart line ends on the mount of Saturn, it signifies that the love for outer appearance is very great. Such people would want a partner who is a rich person and a beautiful person. Rich person because Saturn is the area for money, possessions, wealth, wisdom, responsibilities. So, so when the heart line is ending on the amount of Saturn, the person desire to have a beautiful and a rich partner increases. So this is the first aspect we would say. So the probability is that in India, let's take a case. There is a less possibility that you would be able to find a beautiful partner when you're trying to go for a love marriage. There's a remote chance. So it's not, don't think that every time you're going to have in a love marriage, you would have a beautiful partner. It is not a sure shot sign. So uh, when you're going for an arranged marriage, there are only two things that are seen. The first is that is your partner coming from a rich family, and is your partner beautiful? So in an arranged marriage, the Saturn qualities are taken into account, more taken into account. So the probability is in an uh, if the heart line is ending on the Mount of Saturn, the likelihood is that you are likely to go for an arranged marriage, a traditional marriage, because Saturn is a very slow moving planet. So that's the reason why we associate Saturn to be a traditional, like it is more related to traditions. What has been happening in the past. So those same traditions basically they carry on. One more thing I would add out here that like from country to country, this interpretation may change. It is possibly. Let's take if it's in US. So in US, basically, United States. So what's going to happen is if the heartline is ending on the Mount of Saturn, the person is pure simple. There's only one priority. They want a beautiful partner. They want a rich partner. That's 100% clear with them. So that's the reason why you may say that it is a love marriage. You may say that it's a love marriage, but actually it's not a love marriage. It is more to do with the material aspect that is playing out in a bigger way compared to purity in love. So you would find purity in love in a very, very rare case scenario. So let's take another example. If the heart line is a very, very hard, long heart line, it is reaching the Mount of Jupiter. This is the area for Mount of Jupiter. So it would signify that the person is likely to be more emotional because the heartline is longer. It would mean that the person is very emotional, very sensitive, and very idealistic. And there's purity in emotions. There's no scope of money that the person is looking. The person is not looking at money at all. So when the person uh, is going for a relationship, they are not looking at the material aspect of their partner. So this is considered to be purity. But in most people's cases, it is not so because somehow or the other, even the society is somehow molding us. So even if you have a long heart line, now I'm giving you opposite view. Even if you have a long heart line, it is not a surety that you would go for a love marriage. Although this signifies love marriage, but still there is a possibility that you may not go for a love marriage. The reason I give out here is, let's say that the person is 23 years old. So at the age of 23, the blood is boiling, and the person, if they decide, oh, I want to get married to this particular person, and right now, so the chances are they would not look at the person, which religion they comes from, which social strata they are coming from. They would not look at anything except purity and love. That's their priority. They might not even look at the outer appearances as well, and they would just go by the purity in love. So when we are young, we are likely to make these decisions because these are not wise decisions. Okay, so it's more like when you're youthful, then you say, "Oh, I'm right," and what your parents are saying is totally wrong. But as this, if imagine this particular person doesn't get married at the age of 23, and he crosses something like 28 or 30 or 32, whatever the age might be. So by the age of 32, even after, in spite of having a long heart line, the person would still be emotional, still be idealistic, but some amount of wisdom. Wisdom is represented by the area for Saturn. This is the area for Saturn. So, in spite of a long heart line, which is depicting idealism and sensitivity, yet the person, there would be some wisdom that may come with age. And that is the reason why they may say, oh, I don't want to get married to a person from another religion, because the person has seen many things going wrong in those love marriages. So the person is a little bit more cautious. The person realizes that the food habits of the partner, how and where they live, and many more things. Almost every aspect of the life they would consider before taking the final plunge. So this is the reason why it is a no show short sign that one particular line would certainly say that you are going to have a love marriage, and one particular line would say that, oh, 100% you would have love or arranged marriage, whatever it might be. Now, let's take another example. Out here, you would notice that the head and the lifeline both are joined in the initial start for a long duration of time. Now, such a person is likely to be very cautious, shy, hardworking, and contemplating. So, what's going to happen is that, and there would be much more influence of the relatives and the guardians on this particular person. So, the person wouldn't be able to take a decision, take a plunge. And that is the reason why they would need the help of their relatives. They would need the help of their parents or the family members or the friends to finally find their partner. So this is the reason why there is a possibility of an arranged marriage when you find the head, this is the headline, and the lifeline both are joined together at the initial start. Let's take another example. If there's a large gap, imagine this is the headline and this is the lifeline. So there's a huge gap in the middle. So if there is a huge gap, the chances are that the person is likely to be rash, maybe outgoing, never missing out on opportunities. So if imagine a situation, such a person finds a person and they say, oh, I like this particular person and I want to get married to this particular person. So they would make a rash decision and they would say, oh, I am not looking at the other person's religion or food habits or any other habits, which social strata they come from, and they would just go and straight away go in for the marriage. So this is another way of looking at it. Now, the last portion is the area for Venus. Now, Venus, if it is highly prominent, very, very highly padded, if this area is highly padded, the chances are that the person would be seeking and desiring a very, very beautiful partner. There's a desire to have a beautiful partner, not necessarily that the person is going to get married to a beautiful partner, but the desire is going to be there. And at the same time, if at the same time the heart line is ending under the Mount of Saturn, then the desire increases even further, because heart line ending on the Mount of Saturn brings in love for outer appearances and money. So the chances are, if imagine a situation that person finds a partner by himself who is rich and beautiful. So if they find it themselves, you may say that the person is going for a love marriage, but it's not purity in the marriage. Try to understand. There's no purity in the marriage, because they are giving two things. They have prioritized two things. Uh, like they want a rich partner and a beautiful partner. Those are the priorities. The person is not like being emotional and not being very, very, there's no depth in their emotions, but yet they would go for an for, like in this case, I mentioned that they would go for a love marriage in spite of not being in idealistic kind of a love, that kind of a love. So there's no one way you can actually come to know if you would be having a love or an arranged marriage. I have tried to give you proper reasoning to to the aspect of if you are likely to go for an arranged marriage or a love marriage, and with age also the same line which I mentioned. Let's take. I'm just repeating it. If the heartline is long, the chances for the love marriage increases. But this is only increases when the person is young, like something like 23, 24, when the blood is boiling. But if the same person doesn't marry in an early age and the person is 32, then the person is more wise. And if the person is more wise, the person may go in for an arranged marriage as well. Uh, and There are few things like I might have missed out. The reason being that everything cannot be incorporated in the videos. For example, we are just looking the hand of this particular person. We are not looking at the hand of his father or mother. See, some people, father or mother, they are very, very strict and they are very, very overbearing on their children. So the decision is not being made by this particular person. The decision is being made by either the relatives or the father or the mother or anybody else, or maybe even some friend as well. So it's not only your hand that governs the answer. We can't just look at your hand to arrive at the conclusion. Sometimes whatever your hand might be saying, it may not get applied at all, because your parents or maybe other people, even your sister or brother, they are very, very aggressive, or they love to take major decisions of other people's life as well. So it's not a necessity that only your hand can tell everything. It could be other people who are taking the decision for you, and you're not the taking the right decision. Now, one more thing you have to understand: people generally think that love marriage is better than a arranged marriage. So people might, one person may say, oh, love is better, and the other person may say that marriage is better. But both marriages are successful and both marriages do fail. So it's not a necessity that only love marriages are good. I would say that depending upon your situation, you have to take the best possible decision, and take a very realistic kind of a decision. What is good for you? Even your parents know what is good for you. So it's always to take a very balanced view before finally making a final decision in your life. Now, before I end this particular video, I would just ask you to press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update. You can call me, you can email me for a palm reading. I have few very important things that I need to add out here, because they add up to a reading. See, there are two channels. You can watch many videos, and I try to give reasoning. I try to simplify palmistry, convincing answers based upon the book. These days, there's the latest trend of fake science. You have to be very careful about them. I normally am going against the trend. People's questions are basically about money, possession, wealth. Thanks for watching. Do press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.